I'm going to preface this with talking a little bit about strip club politics and how girls in strip clubs kind of function. And the club that I work at is pretty unique in that there are a lot of girls that, like, most of the girls there are really nice. In most strip clubs that you would work in, a lot of the girls, like, if you're a new girl, you're competition, you know? This is like our money, because like what we want as dancers is for there to be like a higher ratio of customers to dancers so that we can make the most money. And the more girls we have in, the less customers we can have. So there are girls a lot of the time in most strip clubs that are like really, really mean to new girls, especially girls who haven't danced before. Or, you know, there's always like different types of strippers. They're the ones that are like really sweet. They see new girls and they're like, oh my God. And it's like almost kind of like predatory. like, and there are girls who are just kind of like, they're very wary at first. They're not mean. They're just standoffish. And then like, as they kind of get to know you and see that you're going to stick around, they're really nice to you. And then there are girls who are there to work, and that's it. It's just work. You know, like they come, they don't really talk to anybody, they make their money, they go, which is cool. Like that's totally fine. And then there are girls who are like outright mean to like newer girls or girls that, you know, they know won't be able to handle that. Luckily, the club I work at doesn't really have girls like that. The worst we get is the ones who just kind of like show up to work and that's it. And so I'm in the bathroom this one night and I'm not going to say I was doing drugs, but I'm not going to say I wasn't doing drugs. And anyway, like I hear outside of the stall this girl that I work with, and she's one of the girls who like shows up and she's like not really nice. Like if you ask her questions, like she'll kind of be a bitch. Like she would just like look at you like you're stupid and like not talk back to you, which like still like I can handle that. Like strip club, like ideal situation for someone who's mean. And so she's there in the bathroom with me and I'm like in the stall, waiting for this stuff to kick in, and I hear her and she's FaceTiming what I assume is her son, you know, and she's like talking to him and she's like, I love you, and like talking about his day and like his grades and stuff. And like I take, you know, I do this thing and I'm just like listening to her conversation, kind of like hanging out, like trying not to be like suspect. And so I hear her talking to him and she's like, okay, like, you know, putting him in bed, or like through FaceTime, like putting him to bed. And she's like, okay, like, you know, you got to close your eyes this time. Like, you got to promise you're going to close your eyes. And he was like, okay. And she was like, looking at him, she's like, okay, you ready? Like, and it's like, there's like a pause and she's like, I can see your eyes are open. It's just like really cute, like little dialogue. But she's like, okay, like for real, close your eyes. And so I close my eyes, like just like kind of drunk, like in the club, you know, it's like a Friday night and I'll drink a little bit at work those nights. And she's like, okay, close your eyes. And I close my eyes. And she's like, repeat after me. And so I'm like in my head, I'm just like doing this thing because I'm like bored and I'm like, you know, being fucking spiritual and drunk. And she like starts the Lord's Prayer to her, like her kid. She's like, now I lay me down to sleep. And his little like pipsqueak voice comes out and he's like, now I lay me down to sleep. And like, it's just like probably the most precious moment ever. And I'm like reciting this with her. And as I am like, this little like bump I did is like slowly like kind of coming, like I can feel it. There's like this wave and it's like with her like reciting this Lord's Prayer and like me like mouthing it, it's like, it like hits me and it's like I hate to be that person who's like really like spiritual about drugs, but it was, I don't know, it was like a really nice experience. And it was really humanizing, I think, for me, for her, like being this girl who like comes to work and doesn't really like talk to anybody. And I like had kind of like thought to myself that those girls were kind of like bitches. But then I realized that like this is a job that like some people do because it's the best available option for them and not necessarily because it's what they wanted to do. And through this work, like, you know, even though she's like tucking her kid in bed, like over FaceTime, like she's like able to like feed her child and like see her child during the day, you know, and like maximize her time spent with this like human being that she's created. And it was just like it was really beautiful. And like, I don't know, my job doesn't always have beautiful moments. Usually it's the opposite, but every now and again, it's good.